Well, I've got a bug out knife here, as you guys can tell, getting all the tools together. And yes, you knife guys are going to notice right off the bat, this is a cheap clone from China. And I do realize that. My thought process was that these knives are very expensive for what they are. You can spend $100 and get a much better knife. And these go anywhere from 100 and change on up, and I don't really have a lot of respect for them. They're popular, but they're kind of like that first car. You buy it and you do things to it. You fix it up. I see a lot of people tearing these apart and doing all kind of things to them, which I think that's the cool part. That's what appealed to me. So I bought several of these and things to work on with it, thinking to myself it'd be fun projects. But my frustration level just went through the roof. Yeah, I mean through the roof. This is one of the hardest things I've done. I've watched you guys 100 times on videos make this look so easy. And I've worked on other knives and not had an issue. I've worked on a lot of guns. That's what I really am into, is the gun thing. And you'll see a lot more of that content on the channel. If you like that, I would appreciate you tuning in. But with all that said, I have to break out a bigger pair of needle nose to no avail. And I'm sorry about the crappy camera work. I'm working on my studio still, and I kept getting out of frame. Yeah, it's killing me. Absolutely killing me. But with that said, I persevere and continue on. And it's challenging. I even break out a big, huge set of vice grips at some point. And I finally get it out, but I have to break the scale to do it. So it became to the point where I was ready just to throw this thing out. I mean, it was absolutely horrible. But I kept going on with it, and at this point I'm an hour in at least. I believe it's probably, there's the vice grips. And yeah, wow, I never thought it'd be this hard. But I continue on. You know, you just keep working on it. Big shout out to the other knife guys. Jared, I appreciate everything you do. And Metal Complex, I watch you as well, and a few others. But we continue on, and we're gonna see how this goes. Cleaning everything up now at this point. Thinking I'm making some forward progress. So I'm just doing that, moving ahead. It's just frustrating. So I'm going to take a small break at this point. I don't even know how long I've been sitting there. Probably a couple hours at least. At least it seems like it. But I need to get out of there.
2 hours later.
So we're back. We're still working on it. We got the scales at this point. We're starting the reassembly. And that should go easy, right? No, I bought these blue screws from over there as well. I try to put those on there, and guess what? They don't fit. So there's no blue screws. I'm gonna have to use the black ones. I'm not opposed to that, but I wanted to use the blue ones. Oh yeah, you see that back piece there? I was gonna put that in there, thought it looked cool. With jimping on it and everything. Won't fit. Won't go over the standoffs in the back. So I had to abandon that. So none of the sizes are universal with these cheap knives. I'm sure if it was a Benchmade, it probably would be better. And I'm gonna buy a real one. I've felt a few real ones, and I really didn't notice that big a difference, but I just wanna see for myself what the big differences are. At this point, it's very late at night, and I'm gonna bail on it.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Next morning, I feel a little more confident. I have the Titanium tool, which I thought would make things easier. I've got it in there, and now I'm making progress, I'm thinking. Moving forward, pretty excited. So I start putting everything back together. Tool is holding everything for me like it's supposed to, and it works good on the knife. I was having some issues getting it inserted, but that was alignment issues. It had nothing to do with the knife itself. And that took some time off camera as well. Again, it's in the morning, so I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee at this point and walk away from it again because I'm still frustrated.
2 hours later.
So we're back and we're getting it together. feeling a little bit more confident. Got a boost from the coffee. We're looking good, right? Yeah, well, not so much. Anyway, if you guys could, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the like button. My goal here is not monetarily to do anything money-wise or make money. It's just to get some projects out there and show you guys what I know, especially when it comes to the gun side. Of course, with YouTube's current climate, I'm not quite sure how long that's going to last, although they did cave a little bit on what was going on, so hopefully they're going to be more cooperative. So I'm pretty confident at this point. We're moving forward. It looks good. It's working well. Can't leave well enough alone. One thing I forgot to do is put some Loctite on the pivot. So I pull it back apart, and I think I've got the pivot in backwards. Now, why I thought that, I'm not quite sure. But I take it apart again. And again, I get frustrated with it. And as you see, after I took it apart, I'm putting it right back together the same exact way. So I don't think I had the pivot on the wrong side, but I'm so confused at this point, I really can't tell. I just want to get it together and be done with it. I just really want to toss it. I'm trying to get it done, but I love these scales. They're aluminum. I think they're neat looking. I think they're awesome. I really do like them a lot. And I bought several other scales in great hopes that I'm going to be able to do something with them. But I don't know. I've got several of these cheap knives. You know, lesson learned, I guess. But again, it's a fixer-upper as far as I'm concerned, so I don't feel too bad about it. And it's not like I have a lot of money out there in it. Yeah, I'm being facetious 4 hours in. That's just what it felt like. But at this point, it's working pretty good. I'm pretty excited. I'm just adjusting things. The alignment on it worked out real well. It's centered. The only thing I had a problem with is one of the screws that holds the scale on was going completely through and almost touching the knife blade. So I realized I had the wrong size screw in there after looking inside, and I was looking at it. So I, at some point, decided to work on it some more. So I tried to put one of the blue screws back in it at some point, and of course they don't fit, but what made me think they might, I'm not sure, but that's where I discovered that I had an issue, I think. We're going to continue on here, take it apart, and this is where I'll grab the blue screw and say, well, let me try that again. That probably will work. Nah, not that lucky. So I have to unscrew several screws in the knife itself and start searching for the little screw that belongs in that spot. Luckily, I didn't have to take every screw out to do that. And I didn't have to take any out the front, I don't think, because that thing would spin on me. So I did find the shorter screw at some point here in the video. As you can tell, I'm doing a voiceover. Hopefully this isn't horrible. I hope this is at least bringing you some entertainment. Goofball trying to work on a cheap Chinese knife. I'm sure the knife guys would get a kick out of it if they watch any of this, which I'm sure they probably don't. They don't even know who I am at this point. I find that if I put the tweezers in there like that, it holds the liner up against the scale, which makes it easier to do something with it. And yeah, you see the blue screw. Is that the blue screw? Yeah, I think it was, and it isn't going to work. It didn't catch the liner. It did go into the scale okay. So I'm going back to the little black screw that I had that belongs there, I think. I don't know what order all this was. It's like a blur at this point. But hopefully we get it together, right? And we enjoy the knife, and that's all that matters. Let's just go back and talk about the blade. I think that's the main variable that you don't know what's going on. You have no idea what the steel is. For my use, what little bit I'm going to use this knife, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's got a good blade on it. It's pretty damn sharp. So it's probably just going to be one of those safe queens, but it looks good. I mean, at the end of the day, it turned out pretty nice, and that's all that matters. Again, if you could help me out and give me a like, and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. I'd like to grow it a little bit. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you guys. And I think it came out pretty good at the end of the day. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I've got a grand total of about 25 bucks in this knife. Again, the steel's the variable you'll never know. But everything else looks good.